Welcome to USL Live and to the Season 55 Playoff Preview Show. I'm your host, Romulocks, and this show is a weekly podcast for Free Infantry's Unified Skirmish League, where we look back at the games from the previous week, discuss the upcoming matches, and take your questions submitted to our mailbag. See, it is a podcast. Join me to discuss all that and more. I'm honored to welcome to the broadcast booth my co-host for this evening. First up and returning, we have Mecca.
Buongiorno.
We have Bowen.
Hey, yo.
And we have Eric.
Fuck Fasto.
Indeed. For more information on the Unified Skirmish League, including schedules, rosters, or how you can be a part of this league, we ask that you please visit uslzone.com. Guys, let's first up talk about those Week 8 games wrapping up Season 55 regular season. We had 3 games in Week 8. The first game we want to talk about tonight is K's Crew 3 defeated PHCI 101-58. Your MVP was Astro. Mecca, anything to say about it?
I think Torch and MTR played well. Solid didn't play too bad, but other than that, kind of what we expected. Good on Kevin to get everybody in. He got like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I think we had
6,
5
7,
or 6
11
subs.
people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Good on Kevin for spreading playtime throughout the season, even though it upset some people I've heard. But other than that, yeah, shout out to K's Crew. Finished off the season strong, and then they play us next week. We semi-rounds of playoffs.
Indeed. Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to add. It wasn't too bad of a match to watch. It was, it got further away from PHCL as the game went on, but it's kind of what we expected. But yeah, shout out, as he's mentioned, to Torch, great game, and hope to see some of these guys. Like I said in a previous thing, I think that dude is still PMs me to SB their squad. So shout out to these guys for not giving up on it, and hope to see him come back around.
Eric?
Yeah, not a whole lot to add. I will say that Kevin looked good on AT in the beginning, and that's what really broke it off for K's Crew. Mites looked lost trying to figure out where he was coming from and would just fall away and let him through. But yeah, shout out once again to MTR and Torch. Other than that, Jaeger had a decent scoreline, and so did Solid Snake. But MTR and Torch were really the highlights for Final Efren.
I agree with what you guys are saying. I would commend Kevin as well. I think he's had a hell of a season, actually. And I do appreciate him for leading as well and getting all those guys in with Manu kind of leading this team as well. I would want to note Abyss, 15-6, played a really good game, I thought, overall. Maybe his best game of the season, despite the opponent. I think it was visible how much he's improved over the course of the season. And Typhoon, RRU, those guys had good games as well, the guys you expect to. I think a few of us came too close to the nadir. We did have a lot of fun. I think at the end of the game, everybody was like, yeah, that was just fun. We didn't take it terribly seriously. And we did kind of do like hockey switches there in the middle. It was a fun game. Everybody that wanted to play got to play. It was the way to end a season. I commend KK3. I commend PHCI on the way they played it. MBX, those guys, way to put it together. All the way to the end. MTR3, congrats on the good game you had. Torch as well, agreed. And Jaeger and Solid Snake, I agree, not bad as well. So let's move on. We'll talk about those guys in a little bit, but let's move on to Gentlemen defeated Click 109-29. Your MVP was Sav.
Yeah, this was an interesting matchup. It was pretty close pretty early. They had a lot of rat plays set up. I know I got caught by a few. Interesting to see them kind of employ this strategy this late in the season. I would like to see them do it a little bit more. I know they set up a few throughout the season, but I think every squad that was better than them, if they set up more of these, like especially against KK3 last week when they had a chance to, steal a playoff spot, or at least potentially. I would like to see them play a little bit more like this, but other than that, nobody really had a very good game for them. And then on our side, it was just kind of the normal starting lineup, except Iron Bench Soul, right as Sav got on. Besides that, nothing to talk about for us.
It's a funny thing to talk about, though.
Yeah, it was a fun match. I mean, you know, we tried a bunch of stuff, and we kind of like we pretty much said like if you show up, you're going to play, and only one other person outside of the normal. Only 9 people showed up to the game, so we only played 9 people. But it was
I
a
mean,
good
that's
match. It
still
was fun,
9 on
and
season 8 when you know you're
yeah,
getting ready,
right.
or week 8 when you know you're going to be eliminated. That's commendations to you guys as well.
Yeah, no, and yeah, and I appreciate all these guys for sticking with it, showing up. You know, everybody I think did what they were supposed to do. You know, it was the same dance as normal. Like once you guys figured out what we were doing, we couldn't get away with it anymore. But it was fun in the beginning, especially when we caught you guys off guard. So it was, it was entertaining, and we were popping up Molo every time he called a play because it was like, yeah, let's fucking try it. Why not? So yeah, it was good, and I would love to do that again against you guys even in the future, and we'll see what comes up with us.
Yeah, like what was said, it was close for the first like 10 minutes, and then once you guys got kind of pinned to your base, the wheels broke off, and that's just kind of to be expected against that firepower, right? As Mecca said, nobody really had a decent game. Maybe Molo 6-12, even though he got specced out for 3 minutes because he quote unquote accidentally crossed the baselines there,
Did I
but it
Herbie
kind
on
of looked
voice?
intentional. But yeah, I mean, other than that, good game to gentlemen.
Yeah, I would commend Fly Molo all season. Guy had a pretty damn good season. Kudos to Click for showing up the way you guys did. I thought you played pretty well. Definitely in the beginning, man. It was, as we were calling the game, I think it was 16-10. I think at one point, and then gentlemen really just turned it on, and it was kind of a beat down from that point on. But good job to you guys. I think you did about as well as any of us could of like the KK3 group. It was gentlemen has been a very strong team, and for you guys to play in the last week is not any favor. That's for sure. But guys like Llama and Draco definitely have stepped it up this season, and Molo in particular, I think, is kind of the shining star over there. But gentlemen, looking very strong going into the playoffs, to say the least. Our last game to talk about is Good Guys defeated. I'm sorry, I said Click here, but that's wrong. Good Guys defeated Monkey Business 65-44. Your MVP was G, aka Splitta.
Yeah, I wanted this match to go better for Monkey Business. I know there was some people missing, like Shasta disappeared off the face of the earth, Ninja rage quit, Leak was gone. I think if they had Ninja and Leak in, this game's a lot closer. I still think Good Guys wins, but I can't wait to see in the playoffs, because this is a preview of the playoffs. This is the exact matchup, so I think they can keep it a lot closer. I don't think that they'll upset them, but I did like this game. Monkey Business had a good couple plays, and then they kind of just fell apart. There looked to be a lot of continuity issues with Monkey Business, which makes sense because they've probably had more starting lineups this season than anybody else aside from like K's crew, but that was like intentional. Monkey Business doesn't seem to be
And
intentional.
PHCI, don't forget them.
Yeah, and PHCI, but I mean like of the expected starters
Yeah.
for not serious reasons. And then on Good Guys, yeah, they all played kind of how we expected them to play. Not much to say about them. I think this is probably their starting lineup going into the playoffs, so it was good for them to get a look at their first round opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Good Guys look great. And I really can't say much other than with as much else beyond that. I do think we called it before the match, even when we were in spec, kind of watching it, like Leak and Ninja not being there. I was like, yeah, this is not going to go incredibly well. And I mean, it wasn't bad considering that, as you mentioned, I think this could have been a lot worse. And I think it could have been like a lot closer if they'd have shown up. So, a kudos really to Monkey Business for playing it as well as they did. Shout out to Slash for really coming out and going 7-5 and going positive against these guys. Danny having a great game on Marine, which we know he can do. And then of course on the other side, Chompy, Rio, Split, just kind of going off the wall. So yeah, I mean, great games and fun one to watch.
Yeah, so Chaos Blade led this one and put us in a hole 24-2, I think, right off the rip. And we told them, like, against Gentlemen and against Good Guys, you cannot let them set the pace. You have to set the pace and not let them get the angles and whatnot. And you saw us bouncing around a lot on the left, like in those first few plays. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for Ernie. And he got the best of me like 3 out of 4 times. I think I only got him once. But we had a decent surge midway through, and with that lineup showing that we can push these guys and take advantage of players like Split and Fausto, it bodes well going into the playoffs. I'm not saying like Mecca. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but we do have that potential. Um, so yeah, it
Eric,
was a good game.
what happened in the middle that changed? What was the change?
We started pushing and stopped hesitating on the pushes. There were a few times, if you look at the VOD, where I think we had 4 on the south and Split was by himself on the south, and then Fausto and Slav were coming down a little bit, but we still had 4-on-3, and Split was out of the fight after taking some bullets, but they hesitated and then fell back. But after that, we started pushing and taking advantage of numbers in certain situations. And I stopped looking for Ernie and just joined the fight.
Was there did CB lead still the entire time though?
Yeah, CB led the entire time.
Okay. So I noticed that change very distinctly, and I called it out on the broadcast for sure because you guys were getting absolutely pummeled, and then it was like it was like something changed all of a sudden, and it became a much more even match. It still was good in good guys' favor, I think, as the way the numbers would shake out, but it was much closer at the end, and it did make me think that if your guys show up, for this first game of playoffs, this could be a real game on our hands for sure. I agree with what Mecca was saying that if you added Leak, Ninja, if you added both of them, it is a game. But if you just added even one of them, I think it's better. And also, I think Access didn't have the best game. If you could get Victim on, that would be a big change, and let Exodus come in as a killing class. Because it would be nice. Not that CB's bad, but it would be nice to have Access back in that role that he was playing for you guys very well before. I think that for good guys, we saw them do exactly what we expected them to do. The one thing I'll commend is that Rio kind of reemerged. 11-9 was his score line, but I think there were some deaths at the end because he had a real good game. Overall, it was noticeable how good of a game he was having the entire time. But Chompy was the god. Chompy went off again. And Split did have some really good moments, but I think this is it. It set it up really well for the question during the broadcast of are they intentionally doing this to make them like think that they have an easier win in the playoff game? I don't know. We'll see. But if all your guys show up, or if just more of your guys show up, I think it could be a very competitive game, and I'm looking forward to this one probably most of all the games in the playoffs. Honestly, right now. But
Setting up to be OFB versus Birds V2.
Let's go ahead and shift gears and start talking about that. The season 55 playoff matches of the squads will be competing in postseason play. But as we have done in seasons past, I want to once again take a moment to talk about Click and PHCI, both of whom have failed to meet the cutoff criteria for playoffs and are now eliminated for the season. I want to ask to go around the table and for each of us to comment on the growth of the squad this season, in addition to any words of encouragement we can offer for both the team or individual players on the squad. Let's start with PHCI. They finished 1-9 on the season with 392 kills and 1,073 deaths. At no point this season did they forfeit a match, nor were they forced to use NTs. Top performers on the squad were Ghost Bomber going 46 and 97 as a Marine, Emmy, aka Mites, going 51 and 116, and MBX with 10 and 124 as Medic. Let's go to Mecca. What can you say about the guys?
Yeah, definitely shout out to them for sticking it out all season. We all know obviously there was some drama early on, and they lost 3 starters after what was it, week 2, week 1? I don't even remember when it was, but early in the season they lost 3 starters in Uzo, Bax, and Yeti. And that was right off a win against KK3. So I would have liked to seen all those guys stay. And
you mean Click,
obviously there's drama in USL because what's that?
You said a win over KK3, but you meant Click. But I got you.
Or Click, sorry, Click. I would like to see them stick together, but obviously there's a lot of man children on Infantry, so it's hard to not have drama every season. So, as for the people that stayed, shout out to Torch who joined late. I think he was a really steady force for them, giving them actual kill threat. Kaga's one game, everybody know he was only going to play one. Um, and then I think Mites and Ghost Bomber both improved this season quite a bit. Mites calmed down a lot. You know, he's still Mites, but compared to what he is in CTF, I think he calmed down quite a bit, and I think he was pretty important for that team. I actually NT'd for them a few times too, and I think MTR should have been leading the squad. MTR had a nice calming presence when he led. He didn't over push. He knew when to fall. So I think if he played every game, maybe played Marine instead of Nader on every map, they would have done well too. But shout out to all the rest of them as well. But I wanted to shout out those three specifically.
Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, again, as mentioned, shout out to these guys for sticking it out. A lot of personalities, especially when the season started, that were just combustible. I mean, we called it out when the preseason. It was just like there was like CT, Bax, Mites, and Eva at one point. And it's just
a lot of powder keg on one team.
Right. It was the most insane group of people I think I've ever seen in one spot. And so the fact they stuck it out, the fact that a lot of those, like some of the personalities actually managed to calm it down. Like you talked about Mites, like, he showed out a lot this season. He did really well. And the games that he played calm and you could see he didn't get into his head and start playing psycho or being psycho, he played extremely well. And I think if he goes and he learns that class or learns any class a bit more, and he'll be very successful. And I'd like to see him stick to it. And then guys like Ghost Bomber and would love to see Vintage come back if he can get past some of the issues he dealt with some of the squad members and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, some really high points there, and just hoping a lot of these guys continue to improve and stick it out.
Yeah, everybody already mentioned how they toughed it out, so good on them for that. It just the question still remains: if Uzo and Bax were still on that squad, do they beat Click a second time, and do they possibly get the upset versus KK3 and fight for the 4th seed? We'll never know the answer to that because I'm sure there's a question in there somewhere, but the Yeti files exposed a lot. So we'll get into that later, I'm sure. But again, good job to that dude for really keeping them around and keeping them active and SBing every week and not forfeiting.
A lot of these lower tier squads, when they play, especially the bottom squad, it's kind of, when you NT for them, it's kind of borderline a free-for-all. It's almost pub play. Like, they'll kind of give some general suggestions on where to go, but there's not like a lot of strategy. But with PHCI, particularly towards the end of the season, they clearly had a strategy and a game plan that they were trying to execute. And they actually moved and adjusted on the field, at least for the beginning of the battle, the correct way. And they tried to adjust. Maybe their adjustments weren't nearly as fast as they needed to be, but you could see that the motivation was there to do the right thing. And I want to commend them for that. There was a lot of growth on this team over the course of the season. You guys have already talked about Mites. I thought Ghost Bomber coming in here to play the role he did. Kudos to him. Ghost Bomber is a good player. I've kind of ragged on him in the past, but I think he's a very above average player. And for him to come to the squad and add that kind of versatility really went a long way. I would also like to Jaeger. I think he's got a lot of improvement to go, but we've seen some sparks out of him. Speaking of which, I really also appreciate Stab, Torch, those guys, the guys that joined late. Thanks to them playing to keep this team afloat. And that's some experience that you also added in there at the end. And MBX, Vintage, those guys, I encourage them to keep playing and keep improving because I think they'll just get better over time. Everybody said it. Thanks for showing up. But I think they not only showed up, I think they genuinely improved over the course of the season, even when they lost some talent due to some situations mid-season. But I think the guys that were on the field got better, and that's cool to watch. It's definitely cool to broadcast. So with that done, let's move on to the second squad eliminated, and that will be Click. They finished 1-9 on the season with 441 kills and 681 deaths. They didn't forfeit a single match or use NT players at any point in this season. top performers for the squad were one, Fly Molo with 93 110 as Marine LMG. Just impressive performance. Dracolich with 80 and 73 as a Marine. Kind of a surprising line when you look at that. And then 3 was Lucifer, aka Abath, with 31 kills and 63 deaths as medic.
He did play AT like 2 or 3 of the games.
Fair.
Lucifer, yeah. Yeah, shout out to these guys again. Pretty decent season. They had a chance to beat KK3, I thought, after they recruited Tier. Didn't really work out. I actually predicted that game on the webpage. Don't forget to do that in future seasons. For them to actually upset KK3 there, but they weren't able to pull it out. Definitely shout out to Draco. I didn't realize he was having such a good season. Chuck too. Chuck only -3 on the season, 48 and 51. That's pretty crazy. My question is, when is Draco actually going to get a shot on a top 3 squad? As your 5th or 6th Marine. I mean, if you can go 80 and 73 on click, I would like to see what he does on an actual playoff squad. So shout out to Draco there. And then obviously Molo for putting the team together, keeping him there, getting some decent recruits. I know he probably didn't get everybody he wanted to, and he probably expected to put, I think we had him 4th in the preseason rankings. Am I correct on that? That we had click in over KK3?
Maybe
no.
it didn't end up shaking out that way,
split.
but there was a vote there. Yeah, there was 2 votes there, I think, actually.
Yeah, so it was at least, they were at least considered to be a playoff squad. They didn't end up winning, but the games they lost to KK3, if they win, one of those, they had a chance to make playoffs. So I think it's, the predictions aren't too far off. But other than that, yeah, shout out, they had a good season. I liked Abath going back to med. I think he's their strongest med. Another player too, Suicider. I think he had a pretty decent season as med. He's really hard to kill. I think he's only going to get better with the seasons progress. And he has shown some ability to multi-class and play LMG and Marine too. So shout out to Suicider as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually really fun just being on the squad with these guys, co-captaining with these guys, working with Fly Molo so much. I mean, he's such a good dude, honestly. And like, just everything about every match with these guys was just fun, honestly. And I have to shout out Brillhart for having some of the best laws I've still ever seen. His numbers didn't show it much, but he really stood out on some of his law shots.
His double kill last night was insane. I can't wait to get that video.
I loved it. Yes, absolutely loved it. I mean, Chuck showing up on AT whenever he got done with his stuff. He was a standout for that. Draco, as you mentioned, had a great season. We just couldn't, a lot of us just couldn't help out on the bottom 4, bottom 10, whatever. But I would have loved to see Cal come back and be active, but he got busy with life. Llama's improving with his positioning a bit. Lucifer is such a great medic, and I really got to see that a lot. Devil Dog was starting to unrust. Spark is really, really improving on his aim and dodge and his ability to marine. Trax is, he's a team player, and he's really pushed to try and improve this season too, when he's been back around at SPs. So shout out to a lot of these guys for just doing what they need to do, and I hope to see a lot of these guys again next season.
Yeah, we already talked about no forfeits, showing up to every match. I will say that by far the most disappointing squad of the season for me, because they played us, Monkey Business, so well in both games.
Yep.
And you would think that would translate to upsetting KK3, not dropping a game to click. Maybe keeping it closer versus maybe Good Guys or Gentlemen. Not saying it was likely, but you would think those things would transition, and they just didn't. And just again, shout out to Fly Molo leading and leading the way in kills. Draco had a really great season. I agree with Mecca. I would love to see him on a top 3 squad going forward to see what he could do, because I know what he used to do back on Warhawks, and he was great then. He still has that potential. He just needs a better supporting cast. But once again, shout out to Click for a decent showing.
Yeah, I hear what Eric is saying, definitely. And there is some sadness, but there's also, was there market improvement between like weeks 4 and 5, especially with the late additions. It was like every time Click added somebody, it was somebody that clearly helped their roster in a big way. Started with Chuck, ended with Tyrael. even Killer, who didn't play a game, but it would have been sweet if he'd been on the field with starting 8. You guys added some old school vets. It was cool to see an old school vet lineup with guys like Devil Dog in that roster, and Brillheart, guys like that. This is an old SK group, and I dig that. I always like seeing you guys out there. I it didn't all come together, but there were definitely some bright spots. I completely agree. Chuck had some outrageously good games. Brill had his moments for sure. King definitely had his moments, even in the short span he was with the team. And Molo, what an absolute crazy season he had overall. I would just commend Click. I think they got better. I just think they got better too late. And if they had another season to play together, I have no doubt they would continue to improve. Some slight modifications on the roster, or just some guys that weren't maybe coming through, stepping up. I agree with what you said. I would have liked to have seen Cal in this roster. I would have liked to have seen guys competing for that last spot or the last 2 spots, for example. And then one of the biggest bright spots that Mecca mentioned earlier was your medic lineup. That was the one thing that I don't think any of us saw coming, was how good Suicider and Abath, the combination of the two, could be. They were very, very good for a team that's going to not make playoffs. That is a good medic pair. And I think Suicider can only improve for sure, and Abath was playing top level for some games. So anyway, kudos to them, kudos to Click. Really enjoyed having you. And I am sad we have to bid farewell to PHCI and Click. But let's talk about the playoff qualifying squads for season 55. Your seeding is as follows: number 1, Gentlemen; number 2, Good Guys; number 3, Monkey Business; and number 4, K's Crew 3. To tell us how playoffs will be played, we're going to go to a segment with Bowen. So we'll cue that now.
What's up, guys? This is Bowen. I was going to record the RNG for the maps for playoffs. So, yeah, let's see what we get here. First map is going to be Kaiser's Pass. So your semifinals will be held on Kaiser's Pass. Gonna remove that and do another spin. Oh, Y Station for the finals. So yeah, Kaiser's Pass for semis, Y Station for finals. GG. Good luck to all squads, etc., etc. See ya on the pre-show.
And coming back, thank you, Bowen. Just to recap our map selection, semifinals is going to be played on Kaiser's Pass, and finals is going to be played on Y Station. So Kaiser's Pass, Y Station, looking forward to that. Let's talk about the schedule. We're expected for the championship match right now is going to be about 11:30 p.m. Here's how that'll break down. For round 1, the semifinals, that's going to be on Kaiser's Pass again. Your first game is going to be number 2 seed Good Guys versus number 3 seed Monkey Business at 10 p.m. Mecca, how do you see this game going down?
Like I said earlier, if Monkey Business shows everybody, I think this is going to be a very close game. I think Kaiser Pass is kind of a good map for Monkey Business as well. They can keep everything south. Eric can do his Uzo flanks up top, run away from Ernie when he sees him. So they can do that. Hopefully they cheat some people on the side. Good to see. I don't know. I'm assuming Danny probably goes back to Ranger because he probably bench Yeti for Leak. Well, I guess Yeti's gone off the squad essentially. So I guess Danny's definitely playing Ranger. I would have liked to see him play Marine because when he plays Ranger, he hides too much, and they end up playing 6 versus 8. Because if you have Eric top and Danny hiding, it's 6 versus 8. So Good Guys is going to recognize that and push the other group, even if it's 7 versus 6 on the other group. Well, Danny's hiding as a Ranger. Now, if Danny is a Marine, he's out in the open, he's shooting, he's got good aim. You saw it in the match on Sunday. I mean, he went positive. What did he go, 11 and 8 or something, 11 and 9? So he has that capability to do it. So I'd like to see him play Marine, or if he's going to play Ranger, he's got to be out in the open. He's got to be help streaming, because they're going to need the help. CB and Slash, if they're both in, they're both still pretty rusty. CB's getting most deaths every game, so I don't know if you bench him, maybe keep Slash in. I don't know what the idea is, but they're going to need the extra stream support against a really talented roster in good guys. And as far as good guys go, I think they're going to take left. I think they're going to win the first couple battles, and then they're going to play pretty slow. I can't imagine they're going to want to move too far off the bottom left of the map. They might have, Ernie around Octagon just keeping vision, but they're going to try to probably slow it down a lot and then just let Monkey Business try to push them. But that might play in Monkey Business's favor. It might force them to be aggressive, so you never know what's going to happen. As far as the winner goes, I'm going to take good guys here. I don't think that you're going to see an OFB Birds upset here. I don't see it happening, but that being said, I give Monkey Business a 9% chance of winning.
Bowen?
Yeah, I would probably go a little bit above 9%, but I do think that I do think that Good Guys does win this match. As mentioned, I think if Leak and Ninja do show up, this becomes a much, much closer game. If Ninja's legitimately rage quit and we don't see him again, then we probably won't see that. But if we do, then yeah, this becomes a crazy close match. I do think the firepower from Good Guys is just too much and they're clicking too well right now. But I would love to see this be a great match, and do an OFB upset. It'd be fun to see, honestly. I'm friends with a lot of these guys on Good Guys, and I hope to see them do well. But yeah, upsets are fun to see. So I would give them, I'm gonna say a 15% chance, not much higher, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
All right,
So,
9%
yeah.
for Mecca, 15 for Bowen. Eric, where do you give it?
Well, we've got three. You say it's not going to be an OFB versus Birds rematch or take two. You got a lot of returning guys on both sides from the match. I do believe in my squad. I do think we're going to win. You have playoff Chompy. You've got downgrades and Splitta and Fausto in the lineup that weren't on Birds. So I don't know, man. I can't root against my squad or say otherwise. I think it's going to be very close. Sorry, reading the chat. I do think it's going to be close. I do think they win the first few battles, but I think that we claw our way back in, kind of like we have all season, and this time we actually take it through the entire match and come away with a 3-kill win.
3-kill win. Mecca said that he thinks that Good Guys are going to go slow and let Monkey Business play into them and kind of react. I think it's the opposite. I think with Gift leading, I don't think it's in Gift's DNA to go slow. I think he will push up to that line and then hold that line and then slowly corral. That's just the way he plays this game. It depends on if Monkey Business how they play with that, and it really depends on the roster that Monkey Business shows up with. Monkey Business do have a chance. It is a slim chance. As far as a number, I'd probably go with probably 10%. I'll give it one more than Mecca. I do not think it is likely. I think Good Guys are just too strong and the composure is just at too high a level. I also think that Rio, the monster that is Rio, has been awakened. And I think if it's Rio and Chompy both just destroying on either end, and then Tactical and Gift are looking for those snipes here and there, I think that's just too much. It's Gentleman's probably the only team that's going to be able to resist that, I think. So I'd probably call it for Good Guys. I think it's probably a win by 11 for Good Guys. But I think it's Good Guys game the whole way, all the way there. Let's go to, so I think it's 3-1 Good Guys on Monkey Business there in predictions. Let's go to game 2, which is Gentleman versus K's Crew 3 at the 1045 semifinal.
This is my squad, so I don't want to be too biased, but I don't think K's Crew has any chance of winning this game. Maybe 0.5%. I just think we're too good. This season, especially, our kills per game is nutty. Even in the game that try to intentionally tank the league when they just ran and all got specs, we still won like 76-10 or some shit like that. So I just don't see how K's Crew has a chance in this game. Kevin's going to let Manu lead if he shows, and he's just going to try to camp. But on Kaiser Pass, it's really hard to camp. especially because I'm assuming we'll probably take left side, so there's not a lot of spots to tank on the or camp on the right side, especially with Sov getting vision over top. So I just don't see K's crew having a chance in this game. A good season for them, but I think this would be probably the biggest upset in the history of Infantry if they were able to pull this off.
That's a fair statement. Bowen?
Yeah, I do think the firepower is too much. And they had some fun shenanigans in the first week on TF, but this isn't TF. This is Kaiser's Pass. I don't think you have the ability to keep gentlemen off you for the entire match on Kaiser's Pass. I just think this gets out of hand, and shout out to KK3. I hope they make it at least interesting. But I think the firepower is just too much, like I said. So I give it to gentlemen by 50.
I think you see a very slow first 15, kind of like what happened week 2 when they first played each other. They kept it relatively low for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then Gentleman's just going to break it open and keep them locked in their base. Like Mecca said, Sov's just going to get the vision over top and just know where they're at all times. It's a slow, holy fuck, small map, fast pace, stroking out.
There weren't even any grammar problems. Like nothing to.
Yeah, right. I think Gentlemen win by like 70.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's been a good journey for KK3. I think we've met expectations entirely to this point. But yeah, I think our journey will end. I do think that Gentlemen are the strongest squad probably that I have seen in my time in Infantry, frankly. And we're going to play our best 8, but our best 8 just aren't at that level as good as I think that they are for I think we're a really solid mid-tier squad on our starting 8. But that's just not even going to be competitive, I don't think. We're going to give it our best go. We've got some thoughts on how we want to play it. But that's all I'll say for now. We'll see if it works out. I don't think we're going 6 corners or 8 corners again. I do not think that's the plan, but it's going to be fun, and we'll see what we can do. So that is 4 votes for Gentlemen, 3 votes for Good Guys. So that is your predicted final for USL Live, which will be Gentlemen versus Good Guys in the championship on Y Station. Give me your predictions, Mecca.
I'm obviously going to say us. Not just being biased. I think, we beat them twice in the regular season. There's no reason we can't beat them a third time. It's going to be a really close game. These games are always close. In the past, one team has gotten up by a few battles and the other team's come back. And that's happened in past 2 finals that these 2 squads have played against each other. So I see it happening again. A lot of back and forth. I think it's going to be a good game. Hopefully they come to show up. Hopefully they put their best lineup in, and hopefully we put our best lineup in and just kind of battle. The Ernie versus Sov battle north is always interesting. That's probably going to be the key players to watch. Does Chompy get the Sunday scaries like he has against us all season? Can Split actually get kills like he did against us in game 2? Or does he kind of disappear? I think those are the 2 big storylines on Good Guys. And then the consistency of Gentlemen. The last game we played against them was probably our worst game of the season, and we still won. But I don't think any of us were happy with that win. We played really sloppy, and they just kind of made mistakes late because we were up. So obviously we're going to have to clean that up to be able to solidify the victory. But I do take us, and I think it's a generic. We win by 11 kills because we're up a battle and they push at the end.
Let me ask you, Staley, Slob, Fairfax, who are your 2 meds?
Staley and Fax.
Okay. Bowen?
Yeah, I'm thinking this will be a good match. Like I said before, I think Good Guys is firing on all cylinders right now, and it's kind of good to see that at this point. I'm seeing some improvement out of Rio's last week, and I'm hoping that continues on as well. Again, everybody kind of focuses on Rio, and they do plan for him. So I don't think he may have the line that we think he might get. And I think he just gets held down. And if you don't have all of Chompy and Rio, like if all these guys aren't firing on all cylinders and somebody struggles, it's going to get bad.
Good point.
Because 1 kill leads to a push. So I think there's too much I feel like there's just too much to ask. to stand against this gentleman lineup. I do think it'll be close, and I do want to see an upset because it's just like I said before, it's just fun to see that. But I do think gentleman takes this by 10.
I will say that if this is the match for a championship match, it will be very interesting because again, both maps for the playoffs are very small, and especially Y Station, it's very predictable of where people are going to go for the angle or whatnot. So they're essentially going to have information on each other the entire game. So it'll be interesting to see who can really break open the battles. It's gonna, like Mecca kind of said, it's really gonna come down to how well our Split and Chompy gonna be able to perform to try and get these battle opening kills while Ernie's holding off Sov or vice versa. We saw Pister step up in the second match and put up 16 kills. That's usually not the guy we see, looking to help carry, right? It's usually Champ, Sov, Colossal, Mecca. So if you get another game like that from Pister, on top of all those guys firing on all cylinders, this could get bad and quick because of the nature of the map. So I think it'll be close for the first 10, 15, and then we start to see a breakaway. I don't think it's going to be crazy like the first game, but it's going to be a very similar score to the second. I think you're going to get a roughly 15 kill win for gentlemen.
I think you guys have made some great points. I would agree. This is a fast map, and that clearly, in my mind, there are some wide open spaces to say for sure that favor good guys, but the speed of the map, it probably definitely favors gentlemen. So I think Bowen had the best points here. That the way I see this is that gentlemen, the depth of gentlemen's roster mean that they just have to come out and play their game. That's all they have to do. And as long as they play just an average game for them, I think that they win. Whereas good guys, in order for them to win, everybody has got to be playing really well. And the only way I see good guys being triumphant is if there's a guy on gentlemen that just absolutely drops the ball entirely, has like a really bad night. And I think that honestly, some of the guys on good guys are just way more prone to that likelihood. I think Rio and Chompy and Tactical and TG can all play well and they can still lose. Whereas on the other side, there are guys that can make up the difference in Sov and Champion and Mecca. You just got a very, very deep roster at every position there. So overall, I kind of agree. I think I'll go gentlemen by 10. I think that's the way it ends. And gentlemen with the probably one of the best runs in the history of this league is the way I see it ending. All right, so that's our call of the championship. We think gentlemen's going to win the whole thing. Let's go to the mailbag. Let's start here with will the head staff member currently on the show address Yeti being kicked from a USL arena last night? 3 head staff members were present, so there shouldn't be any confusion about what happened. And will staff clarify if this type of action is not allowed or issue an apology? I have no idea what is being asked about, so maybe someone could fill me in.
I wasn't there, and I have honestly no clue what happened. So to be honest, I got nothing for you.
I gotcha.
Yeah, cool.
So after the Yeti files dropped, and Yeti was essentially calling League a scumbag, even though he got 3 to 4 game play time joining midseason on a playoff squad, he still called him out for play time, and Leo was not having it. He did not want him in the arena. And so he requested, I think he PM'd both sides just to make sure it was okay to do. And they blocked him from the arena. Although the block didn't work, he ended up getting back in because apparently if you just relog, it resets the arena ban. So he ended up being able to chill and watch anyways, so it didn't matter. But that was kind of the basis of it.
Okay. Yeah, I know some conversations happened in the background around all this, but I have no clue where they went. And it was like mod chats even at that point. So I got nothing beyond that.
Both sides? No, both sides meaning Leo PM'd. I think he said he PM'd Champ about it.
Dude,
that's what he told me.
Since I'm on the way out, let me just be bluntly honest here. Yeti, You are lucky to have played a moment on that roster. A moment. That roster is stacked full of guys that I would have on any squad. Yeti is the absolute bottom under, maybe he's right there with Jaguar. And I like both of the guys, but no, Yeti, you should not be getting any playtime. You should have been thankful for you got a lot more playtime than I thought you would have gotten. And that would be my position on that issue. So, anyway, yeah. Any other
Not to
comment?
mention, like, when we recruited him, he was told that, yo, playtime's gonna be barely anything. So you came in knowing that.
Like, he started 2 games at the end of the season. 2 games that actually kind of mattered. I don't know what you want. Anyway,
All I got to say is justice for Yeti.
you pot stirring son of a bitch. All right, as I just stirred the pot sufficiently.
A little bit.
Will Rom publicly apologize to Bowen for skipping him during last week's USL Live? Is Bowen really the reason Romulocks is unhappy with USL? For question 1, Bowen, I am so sorry that I skipped you.
You do it to Eric all the time, so it's fine.
Yeah. I needed to do it to you once just to make it fair, and so that's what I was trying to do. That was my purpose. Sure. And for question 2, yes, the reason I'm leaving is also Bowen. So I apologize, and then I rescind my apology. Go fuck yourself. So
you know what? Fair.
Next question. Will the panel please pull up the current top 10 list? I'll let you guys do that.
Oh boy.
And discuss the following 2 questions. 1, who is the number 1 name in your view missing from that list? And 2, who on that list doesn't belong? Anybody want to go first?
I think the people missing, I think there's a reason they're missing. Like Fax and Ernie should be in the top 10. But Fax had an abysmal game as Marine against us week 1, so it knocked him off. And then Ernie didn't play enough games, I don't think, or do well in enough games. You know, if you're looking at a rating of like who you actually think the top 10 players are, I think they're both in there. But they had unfortunate circumstances this season, so they didn't end up getting into the top 10. As far as who doesn't belong there, I don't know. All those guys look like they had some pretty good seasons, so I don't see who shouldn't be in there.
I'll say the one that's not in the top 10 right now that I think would be surprising at the beginning of the season is I fully would have expected Rio to be there for sure. He's at like, what, 20 something, which is just, he just didn't have the best games there. We talked about why that is over the course of the season in multiple episodes, but also I just don't think he had the best season generally. And
he's 33 and 36, so
yeah, you're allowed to have an off season, I think, for once in your entire career. Tactical,
True.
I agree, is also one that I would expect, but Mecca just elaborate on that one. Also, I would just like to note that there are some people that, like, this question didn't say people who are currently playing even. I would really like to see some more of the top players return, some of the former top players, Kippa, Herc, Extreme. I would love to see those guys on that top 10 list one day, and I really hope they come back.
What do you mean, dude? Extreme 1 is Fausto. Oh, you meant Extreme Measure. My bad.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else that anybody wants to add to that? And who doesn't belong, by the way? We haven't said that.
I can't think of anybody that doesn't belong up there, though. Like,
Pister did get padded a little bit going there, but man, he's had 2 really good seasons in a row. So
Padded. He went 16 and what was it? 16 kills.
I think a lot of those were final shots,
good guys.
but I'm not ripping on the guy. I think he played really well.
He broke the battle open in the South Tunnel on Rio.
Okay.
Yeah, and he needed Trumpy's dumb head once too to break open a battle.
Okay,
damn,
I said he's had a good
comment.
game. I said he has a good season. I think he's had a really good season. I just don't know, like, if I would put him personally in that top 10. But I think of late, he's definitely in the top 20, probably maybe in the top 15.
But yeah, I think Mecca touched it. Fax, if he played med the entire season, he'd be in there. And if Ernie showed for the entire season, I think he'd be in there.
Oh yeah,
obviously Rio.
If Havoc didn't get suspended 2 games, he was probably in the top 10 as well.
True.
I mean, he's number 11 with 5 games played. Yeah, so
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, he's like right there.
All right. Let's see here. With Rom departing from USL Live, will the platform return to the negative comments of a couple of seasons ago? And who would you like to see get involved in commentary or USL Live that isn't currently involved?
What negative comments?
I guess that there are people that think it's negative when I'm not
Oh.
organizing the conversation. I don't know. I'm not entirely
Hell
sure.
yeah, dude. I bring
Sweet.
all the negativity.
USL
Sweet.
Live is dead. Retire it.
Jim also adding. Add Jim.
Kevin says he wants to see Pister get involved in USL Live. Jim has said that he is going to get involved next season. I'm really excited to see that.
I think Pister would have stage fright. He has to use ChatGPT to respond in chat. You think he's going to be able to sit up here for an hour and talk in front of people?
Maybe he could just use ChatGPT to call the game.
He's done After Dark, Kevin. You are correct. However, that was pre-recorded, not in front of an audience. It was just the three of you guys or four of you.
It was like 2 people.
Yeah. We mentioned Jim. I'd like to see TG more.
He was entertaining. Yeah, good point.
TG's good.
Backs.
He's
we
always
need backs
been
in USL Live. Keep it interesting.
Tactical Ernie did a lot of it too back in the day. Ernie and Gift as a commentary, they do very well together. I think they play off each other. It's a very interesting take to hear their view on it.
We're forgetting somebody, guys, that would fix USL Live next season and
Who's
make
that?
it very entertaining. Former champ game commentator, -0.
Neggy, where is he?
Boy. You know what? Let's just hand it over to Neggy and Darth.
Yeah.
Chompy says
Time for some
Yosh.
content. Let's go, boys.
I do
It's a
hope
content
Yosh
machine.
gets more involved. Again, I miss Yosh. I missed him this season. It's weird to play USL without Yosh, isn't it? It's just weird. Anyway, Darth. Darth is another good one. Darth has previously called a lot of games. I would like to see a resurgence of USL After Dark with Darth on it. That would be a fantastic addition to that roster. But I definitely like to see him call some USL Live games too. Okay, Eric, your questions?
Let's see. Let me pull up my
After Darth is the greatest name ever, by the way. Hot.
All right. If a draft league doesn't happen, what would the panel like to see happen next season? Bueller.
Soccer Brawl.
Bueller? Yeah, Soccer Brawl.
Yeah, Soccer Brawl. I don't think a draft league's gonna happen. I'm not gonna sign. I personally won't sign up for a draft league. The only other alternative, if people don't want the status quo, would be a salary cap, which you could probably use fantasy points, the fantasy ratings to go off of, maybe. But even then, I don't think that's gonna be a long-term solution to what people are complaining about. So I don't know. Soccer Brawl it is.
Soccer Brawl. I'd love to see. I know a lot of guys want to. There's a number of names that are calling out that they want to play some skirmish league, classic skirmish league. I think it'd be cool to have like a weekend of that. It'd be cool to see some of the older leagues come back. I think there's a calling for grab ball as well, just for a weekend or something here or there. I think that'd be really fun in the off season. I'd encourage people to talk to MP, talk to Ace, see if you can't get that set up.
I mean, when we were doing, I think I was hosting SL Thursdays or Wednesdays, whatever day it was, we would have 12v12 for like 2 hours before the SB started happening. So, I mean, it's very popular. People still want to play it. It's just not a thing where people want to do every day or turn it into a league type situation.
All right.
Also, Soccer Brawl is the most fun commentary I think I've ever done doing commentary.
I would very much enjoy that
fun.
because you could talk shit while calling the game, which is cool.
Yeah. Plus, being able to just call things as they happen, like listening to a hockey game at that level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just say, this guy passes this guy makes a short shot to this side, right? It's really, really fun to commentate that at such a fast pace. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Our fast-paced 1998 game.
I have to channel my inner Rick Jenneret. Rest in peace.
Show.
All right. Let's
Go, go,
see.
go, go, go!
After being benched last season, is this split his revenge tour? Will he finally get a ring without Daddy Sov?
Mm,
I mean, we talked about earlier. I'm going to say no, but good luck to them.
If he gets a ring this season, he should just, like, every post he makes, just finish with a ring picture. That would be fantastic.
Well, it depends too. If they win and he goes positive, yeah. If they win and he goes,
No, I think it'd be
negative.
funnier if he was like 0-9 and they won.
I mean, the alternative is Bax gets his second ring. So what are people going to vote for?
Yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely. You have to pick which. Well, that'd be a great question alone. Who would you give a ring to if you had to? Split up or Bax?
Bax.
Bax needs a second, man.
Oh, I'll abstain from voting. Go ahead.
All right. What the hell is going on in Spec Chat? Are people just becoming more unhinged, or are people just finally showing their true colors?
I think at the end of the season, we start getting slap happy. The craziest shit has always taken place towards the end of the season, like week 6 and on, in my experience. So, yeah. I don't know.
Like the off season is always too long, but then it's also too short. But then the season itself is way too fucking long because people can't, they just can't keep their sanity. It's crazy to watch.
Mecca
What
is,
sanity?
Mecca
We're all
is-
still playing this game, dude.
Exactly. Mecca has had the longest
Yeah.
commentary on this. That if you're playing this game still, that you are not mentally okay, and that's
You're on the spectrum of substance abuse issue.
I've almost stolen that
Absolutely.
macro a few times.
But I think honestly, it's a mixture of both. Some people you normally don't see becoming unhinged, and the frequent flyers, if you will, just showing their true colors. And then you got a few pot stirrers in there just watching it happen, hoping to escalate it a little bit.
I think there's a lot of guys in this league that they just hold it together like a rubber band and it just keeps coiling tighter and tighter, and eventually they just release. I think that's what goes on with Havoc. That he just can't, eventually he's just got to explode, and then he gets back to normal. He's good. He's good. Everything's good for a while.
We call
And
that
there's
bipolar.
and there's definitely some people in here, for sure, that somebody will go off, and there's guys that's like, oh, he's going off, fucking tell him this. It'll sound really, really good, and it'll piss him off. It'll get him going really good, right? There's just a lot of that. So.
But after the end of this many seasons, a lot of people know each other's buttons.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
All right. After reading the Yeti files, can we all see that Big Bird and MBX scammed Bax and made him out to be the bad guy? Getting Bax out of the league or off of PHCI or Final Run was Big Bird's main goal after joining. And after the release of the files, Bax's name has been cleared. Should he be allowed to captain next season?
I'm not commenting on that word file. I don't even want to talk about it. So you guys get into that thing.
I don't know anything about that situation, but I want to call out Colossal in chat here who says, I'm willing to give peace lessons, $25 per session. Namaste. That's a really good dude. There was no bigger troll in SOE than Colossal, and that man is full chill now. If the secret is weed, I need to know it, but I'm willing to pay $25. I need to find a way to chill out the way Colossal has in the past 18 years. So
18? No. Past 2 seasons. Let's not forget.
I'm talking about over the course of 18 years.
Moments.
Dude,
I love Jeff, but he's had his moments.
Colossal 2007 was unhinged. Unhinged.
I had to silence Jeff 4 seasons ago. I had to silence Jeff 4 seasons ago because he went off. But I was just like, oh fuck, I can't let him get away with that.
Yeah, but I got nothing on that question. I got no commentary there.
I'll say I think Bax should be allowed to captain, and I'll leave it at that. In regards to everything else, in the Yeti files as we're calling them.
No, Yepstein. You guys stop calling
Yepstein.
Yeti.
Yeah. My bad.
Yepstein Island. Okay.
I do not think Back should ever be allowed to captain the squad again, and that's just my simple answer to that. So,
Any others, Eric?
That was my last one.
Okay,
I've got 3, by the way.
let's go, Mecca. Bring the heat.
Let's see. Panelists. Is Chompy the real deal? Do you all agree that he's a certified killer and doesn't just leech? Will the panelists finally put some respect on Chompy's name?
Seems like these playoffs are going to decide that question. Chompy has improved massively over the course of the last 3 seasons. I think that you just got to think about this. 3 seasons ago, he was playing with me and Bowen as the best player on Nexus. And now he is a definitive starter for any team he plays for anytime. And I think that's pretty cool. It speaks to you can still improve massively in this game and find a place in the community at a top level if you put in the time, which he has. And I do think that the big question remains: does Chompy get the yips? If he gets the yips in these playoffs, we have some concerns. And playoff Chompy is not an unreasonable thing. But if he comes through and plays solid, then playoff Chompy is a thing of the past. It is just the Chompy hour. It's the great Chompy, I think, is what he would be called.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 paths, right? Is he Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, or is he Patrick Mahomes? I think we'll find out after these playoffs.
Motherfucker.
Good player who can't win a ring, or does he win a lot of rings?
No pressure, Chompy. Yeah, I guess it was 4 seasons ago. I was saying 3 or 4, but I think it's like 4 or 5 probably. Any other questions? Mecca, you got 1 more, 2 more?
I got 2 more. Are you shocked that Gentleman beat the all-time squad kill record by almost 200? Is that true?
that lineup, no. But I don't know if that's true or not. Honestly, can't confirm. But
Gentleman murdered
no.
this season, so nothing surprises me.
The previous record was 776, and Gentleman got 961 this season.
Well, 2 enormous games versus PHCI is the difference maker there.
I mean,
they played PHCI in the other seasons too. Whoever had, or it looks like DX had it before. So
yeah, but DX probably only had a 5-squad season, so there's more squads. But also, you mentioned 2 games against PHCI, but that first game against Good Guys was also quite a stat pad. What was it, by 50 kills?
Oh yeah, man.
So yeah, we can talk about the lower tier squads, but the other playoff squads lost just as hard.
I mean, just on that point, it has gotten to the point where it's like it's almost tough to talk about Gentlemen like it is tough to talk about a bottom tier squad. Like it's just you expect at this point. And if you guys were to, no offense, Mecca, to you, but if you guys were to drop this playoffs, like that would be an epic story. That in itself, like there's no reason you all should lose, none. So
I don't know. I think Good Guys are pretty good.
Yeah, keep hedging.
Wow. I got 1 more.
You know it's bad when the all-time Warhawk supporter is just saying absolutely not.
Yeah. This is
the biggest TG fanboy in the history of USL.
Yeah.
Doesn't give him a chance. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I got 1 last one. Did Fausto really fight for his innocence while he was on New Beginning and War Dogs? He was the youngest on New Beginning and War Dogs for the longest time. Is he mentally okay?
Fausto and the kids are all right. He's all right.
That sounds gonna be stuck in my head the rest of the day.
Glad he never went to a LAN party when he was on War Dogs. Could have been a paintball situation.
Oh God.
I shudder to think about it.
No.
Yeah. Fausto, good job. He's marked safe. I see just now. Thanks to our admin, I speak no ill will.
I have 2, by the way.
Okay. I think Mecca's done. You done, Mecca?
No, I'm done, God.
Okay.
Glad you announced that so you didn't get cut off.
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
I was thinking I was going to try.
I got one that's a troll and one that's actually a pretty good question.
Okay.
So I'll go with the troll one first. Why did Eric look lost all season? Maybe he should stop worrying about Fosto and worrying about his diminishing ability. Where was he?
Okay, Fosto.
Was it Fosto, actually?
Wow.
Was it?
They wanted me to make you think it was Fosto, but it wasn't Fosto.
True.
Yeah. How
True,
about you worry about you diminishing, Eric? Diminishing.
We'll see in the playoffs if I diminished or not.
Ooh. Yeah, it was definitely my question. Go ahead with your second one, Bowen.
Right. Second one is actually a pretty interesting one. So, who is the best medic on each squad? Why and why does the other medic need? What does the other medic need to do to get better?
On each playoff squad?
We'll say each playoff squad, sure, yeah. Because we already talked about Clink a little bit already too. So,
I mean,
Iron,
no
obviously.
brainer, no brainer for gentlemen. Iron.
I think
Axe is a
Fairfax.
no-brainer
Fairfax
is a
right
no-brainer
now.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on Monkey Business,
It's Bonds.
Bonds.
Bonds,
it
without a
is
doubt.
Bonds in terms of consistency right now. That's for sure.
Even if Victim's active, it's Bonds. It's not close.
Yeah. Victim's a great med, but Bonds is so good.
So for me, what Havoc needs to do is work on his positioning a little bit more. Stop shooting. Like, he reminds me of what CC used to do when he was on like DX with us. He still gets kind of over aggressive at times. And if he fixes that, he's still solid, but if he fixes those mental errors, then he's going to be great. And he then becomes in the question for a meta award, right? Which he keeps asking about and blasting Staley for the way he voted a few seasons back.
I agree. He needs to fight for. I'm sorry to interrupt. He needs to fight for survival the way that he fights on offense. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Based off of the season, Fax, without a doubt, for good guys, Fax is definitely the best medic on the team. Secondary, Slob, very close with Staley, but I think Slob takes that just a little bit. For Monkey Business, Bonds, no question about it.
What could Slob do to be as good as Fairfax? What's the difference between them?
I just think Fax is harder to kill. Yeah, Slob catches some explosives a bit.
Yeah.
So if he can work on that, I mean, he's fine. Fucking Kaga. It's been a roller coaster for Monkey Business's second med, right? We've had Sabo for part of the season, which in some games he looked great, other games he just did not. And that's hard to do. That's hard to switch from a killing class and play medic without really being active throughout the week, which is why he got switched for Exodus. Exodus played well to an extent, but there were definitely some times where, he would shoot too much and kind of get focused out and there were times where he did get let down by his Marines that he was with and just got kind of left out to dry. So yes, Victim is the clear cut, but he just needs to be active.
Yep.
I think Axie and Victim have very similar issues. Sometimes they're just like by themselves on an angle. And I don't really understand why. Like, you'll see Victim or Axie by themselves, like north, and I don't know if it's because the Marines are not caught up with them or they're just trying to get the angle without a Marine, which is equally as bad.
I think Victim's trying to take the position that he should take. He's just getting ahead of the Marines. Like, he's maybe even listening to the leader who's telling him.
It's not a good position, though, right? Like, if you're taking the position without a Marine,
well,
it's more on you to wait for your Marines and the Marines.
I agree, but if your leader is telling you to go there, then you're kind of expecting that your Marine's going to go there with you. It's kind of like weird to just sit there.
But you still got to wait either way, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
Axis,
if you should be there or not is irrelevant. It's if your Marines are with you when you're there. Because then if you're there, your Marines are getting focused out or you're getting focused out. So
I don't disagree.
You gotta wait.
Axis has the Havoc problem of he forgets what class he's playing from time to time. He just slides back into the Ripper or the Marine, and you're like, that's not how you line up as a medic. You should be actually behind your Marine right there, letting him take a couple of shots for you. You're not looking for an angle. Yeah, I think that's the only way they can improve. On Case Crew 3, I think the best medic is clearly Manu. And then I'd say second is probably Mercy. I think it's definitely Mercy. And
I-
as far as what the difference
I
is,
might say the other way around.
I'd
but
say Chica.
I think I take Mercy over Manu.
you said
Sober
Mercy over
Manu
Manu?
from 10 seasons ago, it's Manu. Now, the way Mercy plays, sometimes he's almost impossible to kill. He's got a little bit of lag, which is the only thing holding him back from being a true top 5 medic, because sometimes he'll just miss heals on top of you
Yeah.
because of some weird Canadian lag.
He also gets out of pace with the rest of the team sometimes, not because he's doing the wrong
Yeah.
thing, but because the rest of the team isn't doing the right thing.
But Manu has that slob issue too, so he'll just like randomly catch explosives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
that's
he's less
way
prone to it
closer
than
than-
Slob, though. I definitely would take Manu over Slob personally.
Damn.
But yeah, I think Manu is clearly the number one medic on my team from all the SBing I've done. I think he's definitely the best one. But as far as
What
Chica,
would Mercy need to improve then for him to surpass Manu?
Mercy is stubborn like a mule, dude. If he's playing, he's typically playing right, and he's unwilling to play with his Marines if they're not doing the right thing, which I think even he would admit sometimes. And but I think also Mercy, he tries to do like everything, and instead of just doing the simple, just keep your guy alive, just keep those guys alive. Don't focus on trying to throw the nade that they told you to throw and throw a dart at the same time and heal. Like just heal, just get the heal. And sometimes I think he gets in that a little bit, but that's, you know.
On top of
that's
that,
me.
Manu does a lot of shot calling and play calling and stuff too, right? So he's doing a lot of like KVQ style S leadership where he's not like there's not going to be another KVQ in the world that can do all that at once, except for Sov. And so just leading as a medic is really fucking hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
And he just gets caught.
It's too many things to do at once. He doesn't like to lead that much. He did a lot of leading in the SBs, and he would definitely try to pawn it off on Kevin where possible, and vice versa, which was kind of made for a funny dynamic. But yeah, I think he's when he's focused on the game and he's playing hard, you really see it. You absolutely really do. And in I think it was the click match where we played our top 8, the first click match. That's probably the hardest we can play. At I think the first 10 minutes of that game or so, after I think we went down a battle, and then it was after that there was a surge back. And I thought Manu and Mercy both played damn fine in that game. Anyway, that's all my comments on that.
Do we want to do click and PHCI as well?
We kind of did click once. We can do PHCI though.
Because the thing I want to say about click is super close.
You think the Suicider is too?
Well, so right now I think Abbott is
he's got the
maybe
experience.
by a hair better, but Sui by next season I think Sui could surpass.
Sui has the higher ceiling. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. I think Suicider, like if he were playing with a top tier squad and squad battling with them regularly, he would learn those maneuvers. And like especially if he was playing with like Iron or something, I think Suicider has another gear entirely that we haven't seen yet.
I agree. I mean, I think we know what Abbott is. I don't think he has much more ceiling. I think he's a good med, but I think Sui, if he keeps playing, because remember he's still very new to this game, and he's played LMG games and matches too, so like that kind of probably hurts his development a little bit. But I think if Sui keeps playing, he has a chance to be top 6, 7 medic in the league.
Any thoughts on PHCI? I guess we got Lofi, MBX, and that dude. Who is first, second, and third on that? I don't know. MBX is probably one.
I think MBX is one.
Yeah,
MBX is definitely one, and
most consistent for sure.
People think that he's not the best med, and I don't think he's a great med, but a lot of times with MBX, I've noticed when I've NT'd for them, he'll have to completely change where he's going because that dude will just follow him south or something. So then MBX has to go north and he can get caught out and stuff. So I don't think that what we see on PHCI, which is probably obvious, but is what MBX could be. Now, that being said, I don't think MBX is going to end up a top, whatever med, but I think he's better than what he's shown on tape for PHCI because he's got to make up for a lot of mistakes.
MBX finishes the highest rated player on the squad, and he has 3.8 thousand heals per game, which is 1.3 thousand heals more than anybody else on the whole squad per game. Like,
yeah,
he did the work for sure. I'll give him that.
And
Heels
he
per
His
game is a
darts are on
meme,
point.
but it kind of tells
Yeah.
you at least that they're doing something and what they're
Like, he'll
contributing.
die some stupid deaths, but you can probably cut those in half if he's on a competent squad,
Yeah, I don't.
And then Lofi is just, sorry, Lofi, but I don't know. I think maybe just Marine or LMG.
Yeah,
Or
maybe
Ripper.
he had to med that game. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No. That was the game he got subbed in when they went 9.
Oh, for like
last
1
week.
minute.
And he was a medic and he walked out of the DS, so he broke class restriction
Yeah,
and got stuck.
he was third medic. So that's the only game he played.
What a great story for consideration of best medic.
I do agree with Kaga, and I know Mecca's brought it up in the past. MTR would be the better medic
Yeah.
if he actually played medic.
Oh yeah, that's
If
a
he
good
played
point.
it, yeah, for sure.
But MTR for sure would be the best med on that squad.
Yeah, when he doesn't have to play Grenadier just to have killers on the team. Okay, well,
I think if we
okay.
said one more thing about MTR, just to kind of give him some flowers. I think if MTR was on, K's Q3 and they didn't have a medic, I don't think he would notice too much of a drop off. So I think he's a pretty decent medic. And Jerry too. Jerry, want to shout out Jerry too. I think Jerry's a pretty talented medic for, where he is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I got some announcements. Let's see here. Soccer Ball Wednesdays. They're kicking off, I think, at 10:30 p.m. Is that right? 10 p.m. Eastern. You can join in the fun, help launch a mini league potentially if there's enough interest. Very much looking forward to that in the off season, to be quite honest. There are spots open for commentating the playoffs. If you're interested and you haven't called a game to this point, please message me. Alternatively, if you just want to show up on the night of, that's fine as well. What I have done in past seasons, and I will suggest that I do this time as well, is that if you want to do the championship game, I'm open to literally anybody that wants to do commentary with me on the championship game. I'll probably cap it at probably like 8 voices, but anybody who wants to talk over that game is very fine. And then we'll do semis like usual, those 2 games. My final comment here for announcements is this is my final season of commentary. I started doing this in season 2 of Free Infantry. I always wanted to do it for SOE, but the technology just didn't exist without big costs to streamline that process. But I started in season 2 of Free Infantry. Everyone has been so chill about it, so helpful. MP helping me with the settings, Prisoner helping me set up the whole thing in the top 5 in the very beginning. I missed the hell out of that guy. Wish he would come back too. Everybody who has helped, Eric, Mecca, Yosh, Bowen. I mean, there's so many people that have really helped USL Live improve season by season. And I hope it keeps going. I hope you guys take the flag and carry it on. I need to focus on some other things. One thing I am going to focus on is a show that I've wanted to do for a long time called The Dropship, which is just a kind of a reoccurring podcast that talks about different eras in the game and maybe does interviews with particular players. I've previously announced that a long time ago, Kaga said he would do a show with me, and I wanted to sit down and talk about his lengthy journey in this game. And I also want to sit down and chronicle the beginning of Skirmish League as I remember it, just so we have a recording of it. We could, if anybody's interested in Nostalgia Corner. But I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. I wonder if I can link it here. Boom. That is the theme song, which I will edit. I will put at the end of this recording to the show that I'm working on. We'll see how it goes. See if it's any fun. But that'll do it for the season 55 playoff preview show. You can play Infantry for free. Download the game right now on Steam. Just type Free Infantry in the search bar or visit freeinfantry.com. If you're interested in league play, you can go to uslzone.com. Sign up on site where you can view roster schedules and forums. Make sure to tune in for season 56 coming up and definitely get signed up if you're a returning player. Be sure to check out all our available videos on the Infantry Online YouTube page, built and maintained by Military Police. Feel free to relive the nostalgia anytime you want by going back to watch play from past seasons. I'd like to thank my co-hosts for the show today, Mecca, Bowen, and Eric. Couldn't do it without you guys. Appreciate you being on the last broadcast. Definitely back to the last one. This has been Romulocks, and you've been listening to the USL Live Playoff Preview Show. See you all in the Dropship.